The schedule this year is very similar to last year. We had to change our opener. They kind of shifted our schedule in terms of the NCAA this year. We seem to have lost a week, and it caused everybody to change their openers. So we opened last year at Tampa. This year we open at Southeastern University. It should be pretty low-key. After that, we get going. We're back at the Mountain Dew Invitational at the University of Florida. We'll find out a lot there. It should be a good meet. There's going to be a lot of D1 teams there, some really good D2 teams there. So we'll sort of get our first test there, and then we head to Tampa for their pre-regional. It's the South region, which isn't the region that we're in, but we'll actually face better teams in the South region than we would going to our own region preview up in Charlotte, and it's a much easier trip for us to make. So it's a good meet for us there at the end of September, where we'll learn a lot about the team. So we really have two bang-bang meets where we're really put up against it. You know, there's no softies for us in the beginning. It should be a real good test. And then once we get into October, it's the same as last year. We go to Florida State second week of October. Again, a lot of Division I schools, Division II schools. It should be tough. It's a great course. It's hilly, so it'll really help us for Charlotte, where we know that there's one hill that we'll do twice. And if we do well at Florida State, we're set up well for the region and the conference. And then we get into our championship segment, where we've got the Peach Belt Championships at the end of October and the regional championships at the beginning of November. Everything that we have up to that point is just leading us up to there. So we'll have some good teams that we race against. We'll learn a lot about ourselves, but hopefully it's all just leading up to a big peak at the end of October, beginning of November. Yeah, this year's Peach Belt is going to be pretty tough. Montevallo is really the only school that loses anything coming back, and he does a great job over there, so we know that they're going to reload. They're going to bring somebody in. The top three schools maybe only lose one runner apiece, and I'm sure they brought somebody in. So we've got our work cut out for us in the conference. It's not going to get any easier with the addition of Regents College now. It's like a super college there, where they've got a lot more students to pick from. They've probably brought in a great number of runners that are going to help them. So our job only gets tougher on the women's side. You know, we've got a great group coming back, so we look to be stronger than we were last year. We're running with a healthy squad so far, and last year we got beat up by injuries at the end. So really, we're looking at Clayton State, Columbus State. UNC Pembroke is losing 2, and Montevallo is losing 2, so we're not sure where they're going to be, but the top 2 should be right where they were last year, and then it'll be a dogfight with everybody else kind of nipping at their heels. So if we have a good year, it's wide open. We could get there, but it's really hard for a coach to sit down in August and say, yeah, we're going to be conference champion, or this is going to be the best year ever, because you just don't know. In running, it's not if you're going to get injured, it's when you're going to get injured and how bad it's going to be. So hopefully we get something very minor and we can get through it, and nothing major comes up this year. We're able to get through to November healthy. I think in November, whoever's the healthiest among the top 5 conference teams are going to be there at the region, and they're going to be battling for a spot to nationals. So Newcomers this year, it's a little unique. We don't have any true freshmen coming in. We're invested heavily in who we've got. We've got a good group coming back. We don't lose any of our scoring runners from last year. So we're in a good situation as far as our returners. So our newcomers, we've got one young lady who was previously a student at Flagler College, just wasn't on the team, and she joined us in the spring and actually had a pretty good spring campaign. She managed to go 18:36 on the track for the 5K, and that was just getting going. If you're familiar with our situation, we can't compete past the beginning of exams. We have to wrap up 1 week before exams, which is fairly early when you're talking about the outdoor track and field season that usually extends into June. So had we another month to keep going, I think she would have been even faster than that. That's Sarah Mund. She's from the Orlando area. We also bring in a transfer from Lenore Rhine, who transferred for her academic major and contacted me about being on the team. So we're still in the feeling out process as far as where and how she fits in with the team. So it's sort of one of those, I can't comment too much on it because I just don't know how she's going to fit in, and that's Hannah Ramirez. In the case of Alexandra Hill and Shelby Garbett, they just, due to injury or illness, weren't in a position to be able to race. So Shelby was battling pretty severe injury last year, and she's got a little nagging injury this year and was already kind of working from behind. So we'll see what we can do as far as getting her fitness back. And then Al is in the same situation. She had mono last year, coming back healthy for the first time. We'll kind of see what we can get done in the next 2 months. But don't expect them to be in the top 5, but battling for a travel spot, certainly. So starting at the top of the ladies, we bring back all of our top scorers from last year. We did lose our number 1 runner last year, Caitlin Rodriguez. She went down with a stress fracture sort of right at the end of the year. Florida State was her last race. Ran a tremendous race there and was only moving forward, and then we had to shut it down. So we get her back. She's right there in the top 3. Taylor Streckel, who was Freshman of the Year 2 years ago and was all-conference last year, she comes back. She had the best summer she's ever had. Sarah Mund, one of the newcomers from Orlando, she's a junior academic, but a freshman eligibility-wise. I expect her to be right there at the front of the conference, battling for not only first-team all-conference, but Freshman of the Year honors. She'll be in the front. Lauren Rodriguez is also now healthy and returning to the team, right next to her sister. They should be a good group of 4, and you never know on one day or the other who's going to be in the front, which is sort of a nice problem to have. You don't know who is necessarily the number 1 runner and who's the number 4 runner. We may have a different number 1 runner every day, which is fine. So those 4 are pretty much the clear-cut 1 through 4, just not sure which order on any given day. And then our number 5 looks to be Kathleen Casagrande, coming back as a senior. She's a leader on the team. She had a great summer. It's tough when you don't have a big group to run with, and she's in a situation where she may be between packs. So hopefully we can either work her forward with the top 4, or some of the other girls on the team who constitute the pack that maybe right behind her can step up and run with her. And that would likely be Sarah Harding, who's a sophomore coming back from the Maryland area, and Carrie Calkins from Ohio, both sophomores. They should be right there, nipping on Kathleen's heels. So that looks to be our top 7. It's a good group. They've been in the system for a year now. Even in the case of Sarah Mund, even though she's new, she was here last spring, so she gets what we're doing. She understands the intent of what we're trying to do in practices and just every day with my routine. So I think we're in a good spot. Everybody has a better understanding of how to take care of themselves, and that's usually the difference between a good runner and a great college runner is not what you're doing in practice, but what you're doing outside of practice, how you're taking care of your body and how you're managing the little things that often add up to be a little overwhelming if you don't have a good balance in your schedule. So I think we're in a good spot there as far as the roster goes. That's the roster on the women's side. I really think it's a strong roster up front. What we suffer from is probably not uncommon with all the other conference schools, is that if we lose one of our key runners, we're really in trouble. So we're counting on our top runners to stay healthy and be smart going through the season. The regional ranking, number 8, is probably a reflection on our 10th place finish last year. And then they ask you to fill out, sort of a summary of your team coming in, and I let them know about our newcomers and kind of Sarah Mund coming in last spring. So that's probably a reflection on our potential. Again, talk to a coach in August and ask them the potential. They get nervous. They don't want to answer it because potential is a scary thing. Certainly we have the potential to be one of the top teams in the region. It's nice to be ranked, certainly. A number of years ago we were never ranked coming into the season, so it is nice to be ranked, but we saw what that did last year. We were ranked most of the year and had a great deal of potential. We lost our number 1 and number 3 runners, and it really left us hurting at the end of the year. So it's nice. It really is. Appreciate that we are ranked, and hopefully we'll keep moving up from there. But understanding that the early season isn't something that you race for. The early season is just to build for the late season. I'm not too concerned about where we're ranked all year long and where we are going into the regional championships. I'm concerned about what we do at the regional championships. So we can be ranked 15th in the region going into the regional championships. As long as we have a great day on that day, then we'll be fine. And I think we can be one of the top teams there.